Hello, and welcome back to Super Wall Jump, a video game podcast where we talk to content creators and video game consumers and everything in between. I'm your host, Lawson Newland, and today I have...
I'm Sharon Harrington, 40-something gamers.
Kiva Snias, 40-something gamers.
What's going on, y'all?
thank you guys for coming on, of course. Who are you guys, and what do you do?
So, we are the hosts of 40-something gamers. It's a podcast about me and Sharon, Gen X best friend gamers. We met back 30 years ago, 1994, and the bond that we had, we talked about pop culture, music, and our love of video games. Matter of fact, I was there. I was a guy that brought him to get his PlayStation. So
Yeah.
the game is just basically about two best friends, Gen X, 40-something gamers, talking about pop culture, being 40-something, and our love of video games.
Yes.
Makes sense. What is y'all's favorite game of all time? Like, individually.
Oh, man, you know what? I am a big fan of Double Dragon. That's like one of my go-tos. You know, that's like the first fighting game that I played. And I love the Double Dragon series, with the exception of number 4. I'm sorry, not number 4. It was 5. I'm sorry. I didn't like 5, but Double Dragon 1, 2, 3 was difficult. Super Double Dragon, Double Dragon was just my game.
Why did you not like 5?
They tried to make it too much like, I want to say Street Fighter. It was too much. It was too one-on-one. I like the side-scrolling based Streets of Rage style fighting. I think the Street Fighter needed to be left on that side. They were trying to follow the trend of Mortal Kombat too much there, I think. And, it wasn't original. And I just never cared for it.
It didn't trust its own style enough to really make an impact.
Right. And the Neo Geo arcade also made Double Dragon, which was okay, but I like the arcade, the original style Super Nintendo, that was my jam. Still to this day.
Makes sense. Markovus?
All right, yeah, I'm going to say Sonic Adventure. That brought us in to Sega's last greatest console, and I just remember to this day, I still have it. Once I saw it on the Dreamcast, it was like, wow, much to be desired, 3D, open world, still fast, graphics impressive, and I still think to this day, it still holds up, tried and true.
Sonic Adventure 1 or 2?
I like 1. I like the OG, the original.
You like 1, okay. I want to know why you prefer 1 to 2.
Because it was mainly because it was in Sonic's world, and I guess I can't get past San Francisco. I like Sonic in his green zones in his world, and then I thought some of the characters you got to play kind of quirky, but I like the OG.
Yeah.
The Big the Cat sections are something else. I went back and I played Sonic Adventure recently, and I was like, oh, okay. I haven't touched this in 20 years, and I'm grateful that I did. It tries so many things, and it succeeds at some of them.
Right.
Which is how I feel. Sonic Adventure 2 tries less stuff, but it's also more successful on average.
Yeah, I didn't like those. The stages on Sonic 2 that I didn't like was the one where you played with Knuckles and you had to find the gemstones. It was a bit of a slowdown for me, and I struggled with that a bit. But overall, I really did enjoy Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah.
That was a solid game. It was great, and I still have it. Dreamcast.
Yeah, I think what did it for me was the tornado stage for Sonic 1. That still to this day.
Oh yeah, that was cool when you wound up on a roller coaster, like you just like running through the sky.
Yeah.
That was wild.
When you're literally running on air. I will say a lot of the stage diversity in Sonic Adventure 1 is absolutely killer.
Yeah.
You'll be running on tornadoes. You're going to be running, through a crazy casino. You're going through a theme park, which is it's different than a casino level somehow.
You'll be running down side of a building. I remember that also.
Yeah. Yep.
And had an awesome soundtrack.
And then even with the first stage with the killer whale.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah. I remember the first time I played that demo, it was in Edgewater Mall. And all of a sudden it was Giselle. I was like, oh, a new Sega. And man, that was the first game I played along with Power Stone. And it was a Marvel vs. Capcom, I believe. That was
Yeah.
they were, and it was all the Japanese version at that time because it hadn't been released in America. It wasn't going to be for another couple of months, but that was the version that they had, and no, it was a good time.
I think Sharon, you were like me, man. You got it 99.99.
Yep,
Yep,
they
and
won.
that's what I got. Sonic Adventure,
Yeah,
and then I want to say Power Stone were my first two
yeah,
games.
yeah. Mine, I want to say it was Sonic Adventure. Yeah, and somewhere around Hydro Thunder. But I also
Oh yeah,
remember having to bring them back, because the first run of those games, there was some kind of a glitch. And you had to take it back and you had to get the ones that said hot new. They would only sell that because if you tried to save your memory on the original games, the memory card would hold it for whatever reason. So, I mean, it was a recall on a few of those games. But yes, if you ever see hot new on the side of those games, that's why.
I do miss the era of memory cards. I miss being able to say, "Hey, check out my save file on this game," and you can hand it off to a friend, and they can open it up and be like, "Wow, I didn't know that you could do all this. What do
Right.
you
yeah,
mean you can play as Luigi?"
Right. See,
yeah,
I never
yeah.
did that. I've never actually I've never tried anybody else's save file. That was one thing I've never tried. But yeah,
I got a memory card when I was a kid for that had a Wind Waker save on it. That was just about an end game, and I was not a coordinated child or good at video games. And I
yeah,
was like, "What? What? You have all these different kinds of arrows? You can do all of this?"
yeah,
I didn't get past the mandatory stealth section they had in that game for some reason.
Yeah.
Wind
And when
Waker was a
I
great game.
Oh yeah.
and then I had one of my old roommate when I had Sonic Adventure. He went through everybody first. He's the one that beat it first. And I'm like, man, let me hop on your memory card and let
Mhm.
me let me play. And then I think the one cool thing about the Dreamcast was the memory card. Was it the VMU card? You
Yeah,
could play little games within the VMU card as you were
yeah,
playing the games. And you remember you had to collect those little pets that Sonic had.
yeah,
Yeah, the Chow. They had them in not just Sonic Adventure 2, but also in the original Sonic Adventure.
Yeah,
Although there was a lot less to do with them in Sonic Adventure 1, I believe.
yeah,
They were still there, but it's like, okay, cool, well, you're not gonna get too much out of this, but it was cool to have little pets.
yeah.
yeah,
That was like it was another trend that they had in the late '90s. It's like a Domagotchi or something like that. Like you take it
Tamagotchi.
Tamagotchi. Yeah, and I think that's what they were doing at the same time because you could take the chia pet out and you had to take care of it. And I used to bring it to work and keep it in your pocket and you take care of it and just make sure he's okay. It was yeah, and then the battery on it died, so I don't know how he's doing now.
He's living his best Tamagotchi life in heaven.
Yeah,
It's okay.
okay.
So how did you guys meet?
So I grew up in a military brat, and I transferred. Was it 11th grade? It was 11th grade year, right?
11th
Sharon?
grade, yep.
Yeah, 11th
Yep.
grade year. I transferred from New Jersey to Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. And he was one of the first people I met. I forget where class was it in history
Miss
class?
Stones. Yeah, that was in the
Yeah,
Stones class,
history
man.
class.
We were getting
Yeah,
we were doing group projects and we needed another person. And I was like, hey, yo, what's your name? You want to come be in our group? And we just hit it off. And it's like, that's where it started. Yeah, man.
And friends ever since.
Ever
yeah.
since.
And now you guys have a podcast. So why
Yeah.
did you choose to make the podcast about what you make it about now versus, anything else in the world?
Video games. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Say the question one more time.
Why did you choose to make a podcast about video games versus anything else in the world?
Oh, because we had so much in common with the video games.
Oh yeah.
We basically played the same games at the same time. It was almost like a brother from another mother.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, yo, I played that game. It's like, I got that game. It's like, you played that game? Also, it's like, yeah, I remember that game. It's like, I played that game. Why not video games?
And we still do it to this day. Like he'll tell me about a video game like the new Ninja Gaiden just came out or the and it's like really like oh yeah let me go download it and then
Yeah,
even he just let me have his Sega Saturn since I got rid of mine, and it's been enduring throughout the years.
yeah, man. That stuff I took care of that. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna give it to anybody. I gave it to him, because I always looked out for me. So like, yeah.
Makes sense. How has the role of gaming changed in y'all's lives from 11th grade to today?
Man, you want to take that first?
How has it changed my life?
The
No
role
change.
of gaming in your life.
Yeah, from then
Right?
to now.
Like, when I was in high school, I would sometimes play games. Like, okay,
Oh,
cool, I need to relax.
well,
Now, I play games more as like a social thing.
so back then, I guess you could say I was like a lot of kids at that time. It was one of the things I just every day I did it. Now, I guess I do it more or less to be nostalgic, relax, just kind of kick back for a few minutes and just take a load off the day. Throw in a few levels of maybe Street Fighter, like, or I'll jump and play Sonic the Hedgehog, and I may not play, but maybe 20 or 30 minutes. Like last night, I played. There was a game called the Ninja Warriors that was on the Super Nintendo, and I didn't realize that they released it on Nintendo Switch. And I'm always on the marketplace just looking at the sales. And I happened to see that game, and I was like, "Oh wow!" I never got to play this, but I did play the arcade version. So I'm gonna buy this, and I want to say I probably stayed up probably about an hour, just like just chilling out, just playing that game. Like I said, I don't do it like I used to back in the day because, of course, of work-life balance. And also going to the gym and just have, but it's a relaxing feat, just like music. I just like turn the music on in the background, and it just kind of takes the edge off the day. It's one of those things I probably do till I drop, no doubt.
I think a lot has changed as far as the social aspect of it. Now you have it being more online. You can do it more from the the comfort of your home and reach a lot more people now with the internet, and now having online gaming. Before, back in the 90s, it was like more of a social thing, social interaction, because you remember parents would drop us off at the mall with money. Back in the day, remember, we used to cruise at the mall, or even Sharon, when we used to go
Hmm.
hang out at the mall, we would hit the arcade or go to the casinos. So it
Yep.
was more like a social thing, more interactions with people, more a
Yeah.
part of your, hey, what are you doing Saturday? I'm going to the mall. Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, I'm gonna go to the arcades. And I remember when I lived in New Jersey, they had this place called the Exhilarama in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and it was just like this big arcade. And then they had like virtual reality when virtual reality came out. But now, like you said, it's more of a, hey, we can get online from the comfort of our own home after we de-stress, get online and play with friends, or it's more interactive, but more on the online aspect and the comfort of your own home. Because even back then, if you wanted to get arcade quality back then, you had to go to the arcade. You wouldn't
Yeah.
see it in your house.
Right. That was you were wishing you had that game back in the
Yeah,
day. It's like,
yeah.
oh, wouldn't have to have this arcade perfect game, and now we have them.
And then even
Yeah.
then, you had the cool arcade boxes like the Afterburners or the Outrun, where like the motorcycles move and stuff. So it
Yeah.
was a whole experience.
Yeah. Some things you still have to go to. I mean, even today, some
Yeah.
things you have to actually go to the arcade to get that experience. Because I still see those motorcycle, like the motocross games and even the Mario Kart game. You have with the steering wheel and you get to race with 4 or 5 people. All the games are sitting like right next to the other end. Another great game that I've seen in the arcades is the House of the Dead.
Oh yeah.
There's a new one that came out a few years ago and it never released to the systems. And I mean, I wish it had. I think it's like maybe the fourth one or something like that. But you have to go there. You have to go to Margaritaville to play it. Yeah, yeah.
Are you guys nostalgic for that era of gaming, of like going to a location just to play games?
I'd say not really. I haven't been to an arcade in forever, but there are those nostalgic. I do miss that whole interaction, or where I do miss the arcades because it was part of us growing up. Like I can tell you, I remember the day and my reaction the first time I seen Street Fighter 2 gaming console with six
Uh-huh.
buttons. Like it's seared in my memory. Like the summer of '89. Like I don't
Yeah,
miss those memories, but to be honest, I haven't been to an arcade in years.
yeah. I typically tend to take a ride every now and again to Biloxi. Like so, we have a Margaritaville over there, and we also have a Big Play. And I mean, they have a lot of games, and then like I like to go and see what everybody else is playing. Not to take it too seriously, but just see how the kids are now are reacting to everything, and just a quick night out. It's like a nice little turnaround. Like get over there, I might drop a few rounds. Like now, you don't even play over quarters. You have to put everything on.
The tokens or the
Like
card.
it's
The
like a
card.
card. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't like
Yeah.
the card. I don't
Arcade
like
gaming
that.
now, if you want to go to somewhere like Dave and Buster's or Round
Yeah.
One, you have
Oh,
to
the
get one of
main
those
event.
fancy fake credit cards for kids, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's more expensive just
Yeah.
broadly because some games will cost like, oh, this game costs 300 points, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay,
I don't like that.
Let me do the math real quick.
Yeah.
And you do the math, it's like, that's $5. That's
Yeah.
$5 to play like
Yeah.
Virtua Cop, and
Right.
then I'm gonna die in 30 seconds. Because
Right.
I didn't go to too many like arcades growing up, but I did go to Dave and Buster's occasionally when my mom was out of town and my dad wanted something for us to do. We'd go to Dave and Buster's. And yeah, everything there was like, okay, cool. It felt more exploitative because everything costs way, way more. And instead of everything costing just a quarter, everything would cost a different amount and it felt like they cooked it up in marketing like, all right, cool. Here's how much we can charge for someone to play this knockoff Dark Souls with a touchscreen.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the most a game cost you back in the day, I know Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, they were 50 cents. And if you were playing a game that cost like four quarters, like I don't even know what game that might even been. But I know for a fact, like you might go in there for like $5 and you just stay for a while.
Yeah, that's 20
Where-
quarters right there.
Yeah.
I think-
Like
that gets
that's all you
Yeah.
needed.
I
You
was
know?
thinking the same thing. That was all day right
Yeah.
there.
Now you go in there, like I'll go and I'll drop 20. And hell, we'll be out of there in 30 minutes. Well, done in that time frame.
If you're lucky, maybe 45.
Yeah. It's not a long time.
Because a lot of these arcade games are also designed around playing quickly and being done quickly. If you
Right.
spend, $1.50 on playing that Mario Kart cabinet,
Right.
yeah, that's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun 3 minutes,
Yeah.
which isn't really a great value proposition when,
Yeah.
you could probably buy a Mario Kart for like, if you buy it used, $60, and that's like, if you played the arcade version 40 times,
Yeah.
instead of doing that, you could just buy the actual game.
Right. Yeah. And I guess like some nights, which I've never done this, there's half off night, but that's in the middle of the week and I'm not going over there on Tuesday or Wednesday. If I lived there, that would be one thing, but that's like a 35-mile hike for me. So I was like, yeah, no.
Yeah. And also, being an adult, there's just way less time to go and do those things.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
And then after a while, for me, the older me now, the music and just the loudness is like, I could just be at my house. I could be in the
Right.
comfort
Yeah.
of my game
it's
room.
comfier. I can play what I want. I
Right.
don't also have to feel obligated to buy like a drink or food that
Right.
probably isn't gonna taste that good.
Yeah.
Realistically, I can just do it at home and then I can do whatever I want, and I have more control over my experience.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And if you wanted to gamble, you can just full on gamble now. There are apps and games online that are just gambling. I don't really need to try and get 50,000 tokens to buy a PS5.
Yeah.
No,
And then,
just buy the PS5 and
yeah,
just be
just buy
done.
the PS5. Then now with their online stores, you have like, what is that one they have, the Capcom arcade?
Yeah.
I like how it's set up like arcade, but you got all the games right there.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you've been to. I typically tend to buy those, because I just bought a Namco just Saturday night, and it was on sale. It was like 80% off, and I spent like $6, and it has like 9 games in it. And then I did the same thing with like the Capcom games. You could buy each game individually, and if you catch them on sale, you might spend $1, $2 per game. You just buy them all, and they're all set up in the rows like an arcade. So you just kind of go down a list, and you'll see the arcade boxes, like the cabinets in the game,
Yeah.
just like the old school, like this Darkstalkers and Street Fighter, Ghouls and Ghosts, Ghosts and Goblins, like all those games, Varth, whatever that even is. I see it in there, but it's like all of Capcom's games. And then there's also a secondary one, like with the Final Fight and Captain America, something
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like all those games in there. So it's like, hey, these are the games we were playing back in the day. So it's like I have this at home now, and I've always been a running gun kind of arcade gamer anyway. So,
Lawson, you bring up a good point because the last time I did go to arcade when my daughter was younger, we went to like a main event. It's like a Dave and Buster's, and I felt like it was a huge money grab. I was like, oh
And
my god.
it's I'm not gonna say it's like 100% exploitative, but
Yeah,
a lot of the big fancy bright lights machines are also the ones that cost multiple dollars to win, and also they're way more based on luck. The fact
Yeah.
that there are arcade games out there where it's like, all right, cool, I'm gonna give you $1 and I may get some tokens out of it, but it's essentially completely
yeah.
random. That's honestly worse than old arcade machines, which you would, okay, cool. Yeah, I know that Pac-Man's going to try and make me die, but you know what? I know that I can put this coin in and get X amount of playtime. For a lot of these more gambling-based games, you can't gamble better and spend more time there. It's gonna be like a minute most for a
Right.
lot of these things. Because then you're like, oh, well, I still have, like, I need to kill another 2 hours. Well, time to stay in front of this coin pushing machine for the next 30 minutes.
Then I just remember the back in the day, you had that one guy that you remember back Street Fighter 2. They just had their quarters stacked.
Yeah, all the way across.
I'm gonna be here for a minute.
Yeah.
People lined up to play against this one guy, and he's like the black belt, 3rd degree, just
Right,
quarters stacked.
He invented
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah,
But you know what? It's good. Like, another thing with those arcades is what's the one like with the claw? Which I was never good at those. But
Oh yeah, the claw machines.
Yeah,
The
Oh, yeah,
claw
they grab
intentionally doesn't
Yeah.
work really
And
well.
let loose. They
yeah,
let loose.
but you know what?
Yeah.
I've seen people that are really good at that for some odd reason. They can just grab everything out of there. And
Well, it's because they spent $100 over the course of like one day to get good at the game.
yeah,
It's
and
probably
that-
like the more money you get, the tighter it gets.
Probably.
Yeah.
I guess it
Or
starts
they
getting
figure out
friction.
just like, okay, cool, you have to do it in like this order in order to make it properly work.
Yeah.
And it's difficult.
Yeah, it's
I-
difficult.
it has to be. It's not completely a scam, but again, a lot of these are aimed at young children who, I mean, as someone who was once a child, a former child here, I was not good at maneuvering the claw around when I was 4.
Right,
And that's when I was most interested in the claw machine.
right. And see, me, I'm someone who prefers not to gamble, so I'm just going to play Pac-Man. Yeah, man.
Yeah. And also there was like, I think back in y'all's day, there was the community about it. Because you mentioned the guy who had like the stack of quarters
Yeah.
on the machine. But also you were going to a place and you could recognize like, oh, hey, that's Jim. That's the guy who's going to be playing Street Fighter for 3 hours. So
yeah.
Oh yeah.
we need to figure out something else to do.
You
But
gotta-
it was
Oh,
also fun to watch that person play that game because Street Fighter wasn't exactly the easiest game to play either, because that game would it would really juggle you around in ways that you couldn't do it. But that one guy that would sit there and figure out Street Fighter Killer Instinct, you just stood around and took it all in. And also at this point you probably ran out of quarters, so you had nothing else to do. So I was like, okay, let's see what this guy can do, and
But was he able to play because he had the expendable income to sit down at Street Fighter and stack up a dozen quarters on there and be like, yeah, I have the money to just keep playing this game over?
Yeah. He had he had the money to get better.
Yeah.
And then get to that point. But I also remember like the 4-player games, like the Ninja Turtles and like the
Yeah.
Simpsons. I would just sit and watch. Some games I would just sit and watch. Like, okay, how's this person gonna do? And that was the cool part, like actually being at the arcade cabinet and you had the 4-player games and it was just
Yeah.
you and other people, like, hey, we gonna keep this moving until either we beat the game or you're gonna run out of money, and then once you run out of money, you just
Yeah.
sit and watch the other people play.
Man, I remember the first time I beat that Simpsons arcade game, and I must have spent about $7, $8 on it. But it also only cost a quarter to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But would you pay that money for it now?
A quarter to play? Yeah. But I also own the game, so I mean, I have it on my Xbox.
Yeah, I guess it goes to show though that sitting down and watching someone else play games is basically as old as video gaming itself.
Yeah.
There have always streaming is a topic that has come up on the show before, and why people watch streamers is, a question that people like my mom ask me all the time. Like, why would someone sit and watch video games? And, well, so you can watch someone else be good at the thing.
Yeah.
Everyone likes watching someone be good at stuff.
It's typically the same as sitting in the arcades back in the 90s. Yeah, I mean, instead of it being across the internet, you're just seeing it firsthand. So same thing.
Yeah, and then you would want to see just like, all right, how do you do this? How do you do that? Like sometimes I watch games just to figure out what's going on. Like I have the Saturn Saru that you put in the back of the Sega Saturn, and you have like 250 games. So I've always heard and I watched footage of Burning Rangers, but on my Saru I have the Japanese version. So I went online like, all right, I know there's an American version. Let me watch it to see what I need to do to walk through this game. And it was the same thing too back in the 90s. I mean, we didn't have the internet, or if it wasn't in a gaming magazine, how would you figure out what to do? You watch somebody play it and be like, oh, okay, this is what you do. So you would learn from the masters as they were playing.
Yeah. So you can get, the hints and tips and tricks you need in order to do well at the game, which is part of why people play games, is to win games, usually.
And like even now, I watch if I'm stuck on a certain stage, YouTube, stream it, Twitch. Okay, this is what I need to do to get to the next part.
That's how modern day Nintendo power. YouTube.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and because a lot of gaming journalism just straight up doesn't exist anymore because it wasn't profitable enough for some people.
Yeah.
I miss Game Informer. Every time I used to go to the game store, I would always walk inside and be like, ooh, I want to hear about the new Halo. I never owned an Xbox. But I still want to be like, oh, I want to hear about Halo, and I want to hear about how they've advanced the technology, in X and Y direction. Oh, wow, you can dual wield in Halo 2? Whoa!
So you're a Game Informer man.
I never got the subscription, but that was something I grew up with, and then I got older, and then I started reading some Polygon stuff, and now Polygon has also gone the way of the dinosaur.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was big on Electronic Gaming Monthly.
Yeah, Electronic Gaming Monthly.
That's how I got all my information, and I used to collect those magazines, and I had stacks up into Hurricane Katrina, and I lost them. But yeah, I love that magazine.
So I started off with Nintendo Power back in the day.
And truthfully, I started off with a cousin that was 9 years older than me, that I'd be like, hey, I'm stuck in Jak and Daxter, Michael. Can you come and beat this boss? Yeah. And then he'd come, and it seemed like he was a master, and he'd just go, ba 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 ba, done, hand it off to me. I was like, one day I'll be good at games.
You know what? I had a cousin that did the same thing when I was playing Double Dragon, and I had to fight the first Abobo and on that conveyor belt, and I never could beat him. So I'd give him the controller, and here you go, knock him off, and eventually I learned how to do it and walk the game.
That's what I do for my wife now, and I know that whenever we have kids, I will be doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, that's what I would do with my daughter. Plenty of Wii games. Like, here you go, Dad. was it Sonic Racing, Paper Mario.
Yeah, Circle of Life.
Yeah. We learn and then we teach, and
Yeah.
that's how life is.
Yeah. And, you know, that's just one of those things. The funny thing is when I had Nintendo, I never thought that video gaming would really get any better. You know, I didn't think 16-bit. I just saw what it was. And now look at where we are, you know.
It used to be like, oh man, we went from someone looking like they're made entirely out of triangles to being
Yeah.
made out of squares.
Yeah.
Oh my god, squares! And now, like, look at PS4 graphics compared to PS5 graphics.
Yeah.
I don't see a difference personally.
Now, I think that we're kind of reverting backwards if you
yeah.
stop and think about it, because everybody's kind of going back to the way of retro, because the games, when we were coming up, we wanted our games to look more realistic. Now they've looked real, like with the generation now, it's like now they've gone more, they want to see more pixelation,
Yeah.
you know, so it's like, okay.
And we were all about the bits. Oh, this
Yeah.
is 8-bit, 16-bit. Next gonna be 32-bit,
Yep.
64-bit. Oh, the Dreamcast is 128 bits.
Yeah.
We were
I
all
don't
about
know.
the bits.
I don't even know where we even are with that. I don't even know if that's
Yeah.
even a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Now it's all polygons and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But you mentioned how games now are going back to the retro aesthetic. I think part of it is, if you have a good art style, it's timeless. Look at
Yeah.
Okami, look at Wind Waker, look at the original Super Mario. Though you can look at those games and be like, man, that game has a style, it knows what it is, and you can look
Yeah.
at it and be like, I know what game that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what's the difference between Call of Duty 7 or Black Ops 7 and Battlefield 6? To me, they look like the same game, although I've heard that people really hate Black Ops 7.
Yeah. My favorite Black Ops will always be the original, where they were in Vietnam. That was the first one I'd ever played. And then I think I might have played Call of Duty. Oh, shoot. It was like 2 or 3, you know, because I remember there was like one stage where they told you could omit the stage if you wanted to, because some people were sensitive to it. But you actually had to walk through an airport and you had to shoot everything up, you know, and of course, I kept it in the game because I wanted to see it, but I don't remember which one it was. But yeah, but other than that, Black Ops was my favorite in Call of Duty.
Yeah. Overall, I think in order to stand out these days, because as we've covered in the podcast before, about 50 games come out every day just on Steam alone. That's a lot of games.
Yeah, that is.
And you need to be able to visually distinguish yourself. And back in the day, it's like, oh, hey, we're 128 bits.
Yeah.
Aren't we fancy? You can't do that now because you have stuff like Unreal and motion capture, so looking realistic doesn't help you stand out anymore.
No.
Now, if you choose to go with a more retro aesthetic, depending on which era you're pulling from, that will help you stand out.
Yeah. And like you said, it's more because even some of the games that aren't realistic, they could have an artistic style about them, and that's the capture. And I feel like we're at a point where we've done so much, and then even when we were, you know, back in our high school days, there was these leaps,
Mm-hmm.
and with each leap, it was like, wow, like you talk about polygons. We mentioned when was it a couple shows ago that we were there when it went from 2D to 3D. And Jumping Flash, for example, when I was at Sharon's house when he bought the PlayStation, it was like, whoa. But now it's like, it's just polygons.
Yeah.
The first PlayStation did not even have thumbsticks. It just had, like, the directional pad and the 4 buttons.
Yeah.
Yep. That didn't come to the second one.
It did not, which, when I played my first PS1 game, I was very confused as to, why can't I turn with the thumbstick? I have to use the D-pad?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yeah, man. That PlayStation, that was good times though. With that, I still enjoyed it.
That was part of the joy of new consoles is with new hardware, a lot of times people got like, okay, cool, now we can do this thing I've always wanted to do. I think of Pikmin, for example, which was for the GameCube, and it was Nintendo being like, hey, did you know we can render 100 entities on screen at once? and they all can move and do things. Like, at the time, that was groundbreaking. Now, it's just another thing. Don't
Right.
worry about it.
And that's what I liked about Sonic Adventure. You went from 2D to now you're an open world. Sonic can do all this stuff, and it's like, wow, it's another level.
And there are also new challenges because, well, with 3D means you have to try and teach people how to move the camera, which to us sounds normal. But to the average person, you know, who has never heard of a video game before, it's like, okay, well, you gotta move the camera. Why is there a camera in the game? I'm playing a video game. I'm not making a movie.
Right. Yeah.
So do you think that are we still making leaps and bounds, or what do you think?
I think at this point it's a little bit incremental. I think that a lot of the changes that we're seeing, it's like, oh man, you can have 8 gigs to 16 gigs of RAM. Cool. It's not, there are less limitations on games, which is also part of the problem. When you give creatives limitations, you oftentimes get really cool stuff. Like, if you look at poetry or what have you, giving people constraints like in a sonnet will lead to some very interesting work. What can people do within this medium with these conditions? Versus, you know, Black Ops 7, once again, they had basically an unlimited budget and they still put out a bad game. And then you'll have Toby Fox, the guy who made Undertale, who worked on it for like 5 years in a dude's basement, alone with almost no budget, and it's a breakout hit that people remember for decades.
Yeah. And that's why I'm curious with to really see with Grand Theft Auto 6, like how much of an enhancement it will be compared to 5, because even to this day, 5 is still great.
But you know what I heard? That they're gonna have hurricanes in 6.
Oh.
You know, believe it or not, I saw that like yesterday. They say Grand Theft Auto 6 is gonna have storms and hurricanes, weather conditions and stuff like that. I was like, okay, that would be cool, when it finally gets here.
Eventually, because it's been, what, more than a decade?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been, 2000 and, 13 when it came out?
I think it came out in 2013, because that's also the year that I started college, and I only hung out with a dude so I could play his copy of GTA 5.
Yeah. I hadn't played it in a while. I have it, but it's in there.
Yeah, one of the podcasts that I did was actually with someone who did her thesis on GTA 5 Online. And the fact that there are whole communities on there that just play together, that treat GTA like a third space, just a place to go and hang out and be around people.
Yeah. I think the smartest thing to do with something like that, because GTA 5 exists, why not, maybe they'll do this, I don't know. Why not expand GTA 5 and, give it like another city, and make that GTA 6 and you can travel between Vice City and Vinewood or whatever it's called on GTA 5 and travel. I think they should expand, because I guess we have enough RAM on the machine, to kind of download all that. It's like, why not make it a whole nother map and just instead of trying to make a 6, just make an extra, an added area and just, go like that.
I think part of it is they like making money.
Yeah.
And it's like, if they tried to sell you a map for GTA 5, as an add-on, how much would you pay for that map? I would pay maybe $30, but they know that if they release GTA 6, which, they still would have to make a big map and fill it with stuff either way, they can charge $70, $80 for GTA 6 as opposed to putting out a DLC.
That makes sense. Because aren't they doing a new, a crew racing game, and they're kind of expanding the map, or?
Probably. Every part of the march of gaming is everyone wants to go bigger and better. Every game now is like, oh, well, this is the biggest map yet.
Yeah.
For a long time, people were using Skyrim as a touchstone. Like, oh, did you know this is 3 times as big as Skyrim?
Right.
But part of the, difficulty with that is, okay, cool. Just because you can make an open world doesn't mean you can fill it with stuff that's worth my time.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just like No Man's Sky. You just
Mm.
I mean, you'll probably never visit the same planet twice.
Yes, but are most planets more or less interchangeable? Yeah, once you've been to like a dozen planets, you get the idea.
Yeah.
But that's also why the game has had a bunch of content updates over and over and over again to try and, keep it fresh. So that way whenever you come back, there's always something new to look forward to. Like there's fishing now, and you can build your own spaceship, like from scratch.
But despite it all, I mean, no matter how much they try to change everything, I mean, you're going back to the old school games, Super Mario World will always be the greatest game. In my opinion, because, I mean, just simplicity, you kind of go there to just kind of detox and relax and just, just kick back, and it's just easy.
And then I think too, like with some of the games, they're so immersive. It's easy, like, with us now being older and having things to do, sometimes you just want to plug and play. You don't want to be immersed, because I find that I'll play some of the immersive games, and then when I come to a busy streak, I got to go back and like relearn or get resituated, and it takes time to like get resituated. Which is like I was heavy into Fallout 4, and then finally I stopped playing for a while, and it's like, oh man, I forget.
I have to go back to this whole world that is very complicated and has a lot of stuff going on, and I don't remember a single thing that I was doing.
Right.
Yes.
I find that as I get older, the more I'm preferring, like, more linear experiences. I don't need open worlds anymore, really. I would rather have, like, a 10-hour authored experience that's really, really good than a 60-hour experience has really high points.
Right.
Why can't I just have 10 hours of really good stuff? Because, well, I have a life, and the older you get, the more things you get on your plate. That's not a thing that changes. Unless you're Elon Musk and do very little and have a ton of money. Like,
you got the money to do nothing, yeah.
If you have the money to do nothing, yeah, that's fine. But, you get older and you get more responsibilities to deal with. Like, car payments, mortgage, kids, like, your spouse. Hey, maybe you also want to go and have fun with people, like, out in the world. And, doctor's appointments and all this other stuff. So, how do you guys find time to play games anymore?
You gotta make time.
Yeah.
I find that, like, on the weekends, I'll carve out time. Or there's sometimes it's like, you know what, I don't have time to do anything before I go to bed. I'll play a video game, like you guys said, to relax, to de-stress. Or if I had a really, really, really long day, what's something that's mind-numbing that will take me away from my current situation? But now I laugh because my daughter, she's 19 now. She's in school, college, but a lot of my friends that have kids, they're like, oh, they're going to be gone. They're off on a vacation. I want to play some video games.
But what's so funny? I mean, because my son is grown. And you still have to make time to do it. Because, like, you think that you have all this time. It's like, now you got to rest. Because you've worked. You've gone all over the place. It's like, it's many times I've sat down with the controller and I've turned it on and it's like, okay, I'm just going to kick back and shut my eyes for a minute, and I'll get back to this in about the next 35, 40 minutes. I was like, and I've actually like, okay, like, I'm tired. I'm even going to mess with this. I might do it tomorrow. And it's that scenario as well. So it's like, sometimes for me, it can be, it'll really be a spur of the moment kind of thing. It's like, I'm excited. It's like, I'm pumped with adrenaline, and I'm going to go and play Daytona USA. And I'm gonna race the car around track a couple times, and then I'm good. And I'm gonna go to the gym.
Yeah, because being an adult means you just have less time overall.
Yeah,
right. It's like, oh hey, it's not. You can't be in your teens again and be like, I'm gonna play this game for 12 hours straight because, yeah, that's just not a thing that you get really as you get older.
Right.
Yeah, because if I pull an all nighter, that ruins the rest of the other day.
Yeah.
That could ruin my
I can't
whole
do
week because then my sleep
I
schedule's
can't do
just
it.
destroyed.
Yeah.
Now, there was a game I was playing about a month or so ago called Ori, and I would go like so far in the game. It's like, okay, I'm gonna make it to this next level, and I'm gonna stop for the night. And I would play based on where I was and like where I wanted to get. And I knew if it was just like right around the corner, that I just need to finish this challenge, and I may die a couple times. And I'm looking at the clock. It's like, okay, it's 11:55. It's 12. It's 12 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock. It's like, okay, I'm gonna get to this spot, and I'm gonna stop. And sometimes you just gotta be like, okay, and I'll pause the machine because with the Nintendo Switch, you just kind of put it in like hangout mode, and you just go to sleep. Put the machine to sleep, and you go back the next day, and it'll be in the same spot. So, it's like no harm, no foul.
And you know what's funny? I could just imagine the younger us is like, "Are you insane? Keep on playing, like keep on going."
No, but you there's no rules. You can stay up as late as you want, and you can eat just a barrel full of chocolate. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
but
not.
then I'm gonna have to wake up tomorrow at 6 a.m. and deal with the consequences of that.
Yeah.
Younger
Yeah.
me, sorry.
Yeah. Well, I think if it ever really came to that aspect, and I really stayed up that late, I'm probably calling in. Like, hey, look, I stayed up all night. I'm not coming to that. I'll take it. What you call it? Personal reflection day or whatever, vacation day. It's like, yeah, count me out. And I'm
And,
probably still gonna play the game.
and I don't know about you guys. Like, I have to get out and do things. I have to
Yeah.
go out and be out in the world. And it's just like that's with some of the immersive games. I make it a point to not get sucked in, especially on the time off. I want to go out and at least dedicate time to actually living life and being out and about.
Yeah, the real VR.
Yeah.
Yeah, because games are really fun, but also people are kind of important.
Yeah. And I love to get in my car and just drive down the beach and listen to music. And that's one of my major detoxes. It's like I'll come home from work and I'll just ride, and just reflect.
My wife and I will sometimes just go and drive somewhere and like go on a walk for a while. We'll be like,
Right.
okay, cool. We have not been outside today. We're gonna go outside and do something just chill.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we'll walk around in one of the many parks that Atlanta has and overall just relax a little bit and let our eyes not bug out of our heads from being this close to a screen.
Right. And I mean, you have to break away, because you don't want it to be the only thing that you do. So it's like, yeah, you got to get that fresh air. You need sunshine. You got to go visit that coffee shop or go get that slice of pizza, and just remember that you're still alive. The game is good, but you play the game, you don't want it to play you, and you get totally zonked into it.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me when I was in the Navy. So around the time that I was in, that's when the PlayStation 2 came out. And here we are, we're going on a world cruise. We're hitting spots like Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, Thailand, Singapore. And we'd have some young sailors that, hey, you're playing video games. I'm like, look, go out, go see the world. Don't be like, what did you do on your 6-month deployment? Oh, I beat X, Y, and Z. Man,
Right.
go out and go see the world. That
Right.
game would be
There's
still
stuff
sitting
to
there waiting
do
for
out
you.
there if you just go and do it. Games are fun, but games are one part of life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a very small part. I mean, this the walkie dog. Kids. Going to the movies. That's
Yeah.
another thing I love to do in detox. I'll go to the cinema, and and hey, look, it's nothing for me to go to a retro gaming store and see what they have like in there. Just kind of DVD sections, all that old stuff. But nevertheless, you're still kind of detoxing. You're moving away from it, and just
Yeah.
kind of doing your thing.
Being a fully grown adult is all about trying to find the balance of, okay, cool, what do I want to do and what should I do?
Right.
Yeah. And then we're we're not younger, so it's like you need sleep.
Right.
Yes.
If you ain't gonna get the sleep, your body's gonna let
Right.
you know you
And
need the
I-
rest.
I work in film, and so every time I can go to sleep, I'm like,
Yeah.
let's get some good Z's.
Yeah.
Right, and that's important. And I'll be honest with you, there's been times where weeks, maybe even a couple months have passed by and I hadn't played a game. You know, it's just been that way. You know, here lately I've gotten was like, okay, I'm gonna play for a few minutes, and I also have to do my art as well. So it's just you gotta balance it all out.
So I'm gonna plug this right here. This has been my new best friend. This right here, because it has like a lot of retro games. It's portable, and a lot of retro games I played. Like, oh man, I got a little
Can
time.
you describe what you just held up for people who are just going to be like listening on Spotify? It looks
Yeah.
like a Game Boy, but it has two joysticks on there.
Yeah. So
It
it's
looks like
the
a Game Boy Color with two joysticks.
This is called the Battle XP 350. One of my coworkers put me onto this. Alibaba, $35. It's one of those. It's kind of like the arcade box. It has like thousands of retro games and systems on here.
It even has
Um,
triggers on the back.
Yeah.
The triggers on the back, and then it has like SD cards on both slots. So it's one of those like retro, the retro systems that come out with all the different games, or the emulator, but now it's portable. So it's my
Can you-
new go-to.
Can you plug it to the TV?
No, unfortunately, no.
Oh.
They're not like kind of like the DS.
Yeah, that would be cool if they had an HDMI port to plug into a TV.
I mean,
what-
that's one of the joys of having a PC, is you can theoretically just hook up your PC to the TV and
Yeah.
have fun. That's
Yeah.
something that we do sometimes when we have guests, people want to play a game like Jackbox or something, and then we can just, oh, hey, everyone gets to play now.
There you go.
Oh yeah, man, my latest is the Nintendo Switch 2, so I bought that back September, so that's kind of been my go-to here lately when I play.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I'd say we're at a pretty good stopping point. So, anything else you guys want to bring up before we wrap us out?
Oh, I was gonna say, and thank you for having us on your show, and we're gonna have
Yes.
you on 40 Something Gamers. Listeners, hey, if you ever get a chance, you want to hear two Gen Xers talk about video games, pop culture, life in the 1990s, and then our take on the new 40 Something Gamers podcast on all streaming platforms. And we
Yeah.
also have a Facebook 40 Something Gamers podcast. Stop in, say hi.
Yeah. Check out Sharon's Quarter Challenge, Sharon's Arcade. Hit me up. Let me know what you think of the game. Sometimes I suck, sometimes I win.
Isn't that always?
Yeah.
But yeah, if you've listened so far, thank you so much. Please be sure to follow, review, subscribe, do whatever, and tell your friends about us so that way we can, talk like this to more people. Thank you so much. And